Hi, it's Bianca, and it's no surprise that I love creating stuff, so why would there be any difference when it comes to creating content on Instagram? So you've seen me take you along on my content creation journey, aka when I pack a bag of 7 outfits, end up taking a million photos, go to a million different locations, but I've never shown you how I actually edit, curate, schedule, and ultimately post the photos to my Instagram feed. So without any further ado, this is how I edit my Instagram photos. Could have been. So the pre-steps before I even edit photos is obviously to stockpile photos, which you guys have seen in other videos, but if you have missed those videos, you can click up here and check them out. Step 1 is where I sift and sort through the photos I like. I usually take photos on my iPhone, but sometimes I get crafty with a friend and use a DSLR. This to me is the most important step, step 1, because it tells the tale of which photos you're vibing with the most and ultimately which ones will your followers see. Just like me. If I'm taking photos on a DSLR, during the photo shoot I spot check them and see how everything's looking. Same as an iPhone shoot, if I feel like I've got the money shot, I change outfits and continue. When I get home, I'll upload the DSLR images on my laptop, pull out the ones I like best, throw them into a separate folder and airdrop them to myself. Whereas if I'm shooting content on my iPhone, I'll get home, favorite the photos I like best, and delete the photos that did not make it to my favorites. Step 2 is basically like a step 1.5, considering it's really just another walkthrough through the favorites to make sure we picked the correct ones and to kind of delete off the ones that we just favorited as a just in case. Step 3 is where the magic happens. It's where we go from this to this. For the longest time I used the app VSEO and I only used the preset A4, but for the past few months I've been using the editing app Tezza and only using the preset in Vintage. A4 and Vintage have a lot of similarities, which is why I was able to make the switch to keep my feed looking consistent. The aesthetic for my feed I go for is a more orangey hued tint. I like the contrast pretty strong and the brightness pretty low. I like the chaos colors bring to my feed and I edit according to that. I import the photo or photos to Tezza, click on Vintage, and usually bring it down to about 20 to 30. This effect does have a tendency to make your skin look a little burnt or too orange, especially because I'm very pale, so I always make sure to adjust my HSL accordingly. I'll bring the luminance up and saturation down on the oranges and on the reds, but not too much because I do like the more glazed over sun-kissed look. Now, I will mention this particular photo I am editing right now. Since I took this on a DSLR, I edited the coloring, shadows, and contrast on Photoshop before I even imported it into Tezza. But let it be known, I rarely or never do that. For iPhone photos, which is the majority of my Instagram feed, I'll edit and adjust the brightness, contrast, and shadows in Tezza as well. I never use the built-in iPhone camera to edit. It's all pretty much simplified down to editing on one app. Sometimes if I absolutely have to, I'll switch back into VSEO and put the A4 filter atop of an already done edit, but I pull the bar down to about 4. I know I can make my own presets in Photoshop, but to be honest, I'm not quite familiar with the software, so I stick to using what the professional Instagrammers have created for us. And let it be known, I do not create my preset from scratch each time I edit a photo. I always copy and paste the saved preset on top of an unedited picture. Mostly, you have to go back in and adjust the shadows and contrast to fit the picture better, considering my lighting varies, but for the most part, once you know what you like, you can just copy and paste forever. Step 4. Compare your new photo to your old photos in your Instagram feed. Just because you went to a concert and took a photo last night doesn't mean you have to post it instantly if it looks awkward next to the last photo you uploaded. I think a very important thing in creating content is scheduling, and this is all about planning. For instance, I sit in photos a lot. I'm short. So I try to make myself look taller. So I wouldn't post two sitting photos next to each other because it kind of just looks awkward. This is kind of my good side, so I'm usually sitting this way. It just makes for awkward layout. Although obviously this is just how I think. I'm super anal. You could pose however you want and post whatever you want, but in my itinerary of life, I just feel like I could separate those a little bit so it has more of a balance rather than a hump of an awkwardness. Also have a system to incorporate your interests and your hobbies. We all love a good selfie. I'm so down for selfies. I'm so down for photos of myself. Honestly, they get the most engagement and the most traction. But there's also more to life than a selfie. There's design, there's fashion, there's style, there's food, there's beautiful buildings and architecture, home decor. I love all of these things and I really choose to incorporate it into my feed. I don't really care kind of how many likes it gets. Those posts don't do as good, but I love the way that they look, and I think it's important if you like something too, take a cute little photo of your paintings and post them. Who the hell cares? Now for after the fact, you're already done uploading stuff, double check it. Make sure it looks good in your feed, make sure it's pretty, make sure everything aligns and the stars are in your favor. I've noticed that doing this helps me a lot because if I see that it doesn't look perfectly immaculate, which is, I know, such a silly way to think, but I am so anal that I delete it right away, I re-edit it really quick, and then I re-upload it. And then obviously after I upload it, I do a second comment with a bunch of hashtags. I don't know, Instagram kind of works that way. I definitely do get people through the hashtags. Don't know if they follow me, but at least they engage with my posts. Sometimes they just like comment stuff. If they're following a certain hashtag, kind of annoying. It's kind of like semi-outdated, but I still do it anyway, and I always, always, always share my post to my story. I know people are like, me, that's so annoying, like no one cares that you have a new post, but obviously the algorithm completely changed now and you can't just like go and see older posts anymore. You see suggested posts unless you click on older posts. So story, sharing your new photo and making it all cute and beautiful is kind of worth it at this point. It up my life, and this is what it's like to be lovers, you and me. But I just hope you guys enjoyed my editing process. I just hope that this helped you if you like kind of the style of my feed. I really appreciate it, and without any further ado, I just hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're following me on Instagram, and if you're not, right here. And if you're also not subscribed yet to my channel, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And while you're at it, I'm just gonna say follow me on Insta one more time, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!